Hello everybody, it's a real pleasure and a real honor to be with you here today, and I have an invitation for you, a direct one. Let's speak media literacy. But first of all, let's see who I am. My name is Nadina Nicolici. I'm from Romania, from Drobeta Turnu Severin, which is in southwest Romania, and I am a teacher of English as a foreign language in Lorin Sălăgean Technical High School. I have 20 plus years of experience, and in my school I'm the coordinator of the board for projects and partnerships, and so far I coordinated more than 175 international projects for my students and teachers. Actually, I started my career in media quite a long time ago in a radio station, and there are two things that I love: technology and the truth. So I decided to somehow combine them, and I fell in love with media literacy. But why let's speak media literacy? If you have a look at the map of Europe, according to the Media Literacy Index 2021, Romania is in cluster 4, which means it has only 34 points and it ranks 28 among all the European countries. What does it mean? It means that the Romanians have low potential to deal with fake news and disinformation, and during the COVID-19 pandemic, they were prone to this phenomena of fake news and disinformation, and that's why only 42% of people in my country got vaccinated, which means that Romania is the second least vaccinated country in Europe. That's because headlines like this were all around on the internet. People believed them and they also decided to share them, and here are the results. Another effect of this low potential is related to the recent war in Ukraine, when fake news created chaos in my country. At first there were two messages that were shared using WhatsApp, and then they also came on Facebook. They were also shared, and a national television, not a very trustful one, decided to share the news as well, and the result was that chaos was created all around the country, because people thought and believed that the fuel price will go up overnight and only the army will be allowed to fill up their tanks, and that's why they decided to go to the petrol station, spend the time and waste the money there, and try to fill up with the petrol everything they had handy. The reason is the fact that people are victims of fake news and disinformation, because media literacy, at least in Romania, is not studied in schools. So I decided to create a resource, Let's Speak Media Literacy, that I will share with you today. Media literacy is actually a program for teachers, and this is because they can educate their students, and by that means they can reach the other members of the community. So this is the solution that I found. Let's Speak Media Literacy is a 10-unit full course for teachers who teach in middle and high school, but it's also good for teachers who teach in primary school, because it's important to have them equipped with materials, resources, and also activities which can be easily integrated and adapted, so that media literacy is part of our regular classes, but also in our extracurricular activities. So let's start. The first unit is an introduction to media literacy, and those who study this research find out about what media literacy is and what it is not, and also they discover how confident they are regarding media literacy. When I first asked teachers what media literacy is, here are some of the examples, and here are some of their ideas and what they wanted to know. And when I first read them, I understood that most of them have no idea what media literacy actually is. Another reason for this research to exist now. Here is an example of an activity during which teachers find out what is true and what is false about media literacy. Another section of the book is dedicated to pictures, because in general people not only believe what they read but also what they see and watch. And when I asked teachers I work with if this image is real or not, 100% of them said yes, it's real. And when I asked them to tell me why they think it's real, they said that the logo of the famous environmental organization is there, and that's why it's an official one and it's real. As a matter of fact, this is a fake picture, and unfortunately it was viral, and there were many people who believed it is true. The second unit deals with the my media landscape, and those who study the resource find out how much time they spend interacting with media on a daily basis, and also what the information ecosystem looks like, because they get to study different types of content that make this ecosystem. When it comes to finding out how much time we spend interacting with media, teachers are invited to take part in this activity, and to have a look at all the platforms and all the means of communication we use online, and think about how much time they spend using them daily and what for. The next step is to step into their students' shoes, or to interview their students and find out what is different and what is similar. And the differences and similarities look like this. It's very important to know them, because in this way we can better understand our students, and we can also find those things which connect us and make us similar. As you can see, there are some huge differences. For instance, the way they communicate and the way they interact with media. For instance, teachers use Facebook, while students not so many, and students use Snapchat, while teachers don't use it so much. Another thing that this unit presents is the way we get our news from. And as you can see, according to the latest data, TV is still the king, and is followed by the internet and the radio. The next unit deals with media literacy core concepts, and it's very important to find out about them and to know them, so that we can implement them in our lessons and in our activities, but also the key questions of media literacy, and to learn how the messages are constructed. So the core concepts of media literacy, they are presented, all the concepts and also the definitions or the explanations, but everything is made in a very interactive way, and teachers have to match the concept to the explanation, and then to explain why they opted for that explanation, and why they think that concept matches that explanation, and they discuss in their group and also with their trainer. As for the key questions to media literacy, it's very important to know them and to have them in our minds every time, because in this way we can stay safe from harmful messages, and teachers and then students are taught how to interrogate everything. For instance, who created the messages, also about the creative techniques which were used, how different people might understand the message in a different way, also about the lifestyle, values and points of view, and very important to know why that message was created and being sent, because all of them in general have something behind, they have a reason why they are created and sent. As for my media messages, the book has very clear examples and very actual ones. For instance, this is a message I got on WhatsApp not a very long time ago, and in the book you can find information and also explanation why this message is not to be believed. For instance, to have a look at the logo, to have a look at the punctuation and the mistakes, also the emojis, because the more emojis a message has, the less professional it is. And the most important thing, to have a look at the web page, if it's the official one or not. There are also activities that can be accessed by using the QR codes. Teachers are taught how to scan the QR code, and each of them leads to a piece of news online. And after finding out how the messages are constructed and taking into account the key questions of media literacy, they have to find out if these pieces of news are real or not. The next units 4 and 5 deal with fake news. In unit 4, it deals with fake news, what they are, but also propaganda, misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, and also the ecosystem elements of fake news. They are presented in a very clear way. For instance, there are pictures of it, and there are also explanation and text, so that teachers learn and also remember and cascade knowledge to their students. As for the ecosystem elements, here are all of them which are presented, also with examples taken from the internet and a very short description, so that teachers understand exactly what they are. The next unit continues with the types of fake news, and here are the ones that it deals with. For instance, conspiracy theories, clickbait, pseudoscience, and so on. And all of them have a short definition, and also they are illustrated in this situation, the conspiracy theories, with very famous examples of things people used to believe along the history. A special place is dedicated to pseudoscience, and a part of it, here I mean subliminal messages, which also are presented with a definition and an example where we can find them, for instance, in movies or in music, but also in advertising. And there are also examples. For instance, have a look at this poster for the famous movie and the subliminal message it sends to us. There are also other activities in this part, because everything has to be worked on, and we have to go from theory to practice, and teachers have to go online scanning the QR codes, and they go to different websites, and they have to find out if those websites are real or not, if they present real news or not, and why, because now they have enough confidence, and they have become somehow experts. Unit 6 deals with stereotypes, and teachers find out how to negate and combat them, also how to teach about stereotypes and how they can affect our perception. And for this, one of the activities is an open discussion, for and against discussion based on a stereotype. There are also general ideas and definitions and examples, and here teachers go from theory to practice. They have to go online and find stereotypes about this type of people, which in generally we tend to put a label on. The next unit deals with facts versus opinions, and a special part in it is played by info-media literacy competencies, and also how to make the distinction between what is fact and what is opinion. When asked about media literacy competencies, teachers in general have some idea. One of their answer is critical thinking skills, and also social tolerance, digital safety, but the number one I would say is related to innovation and creativity. In this unit, they find out about facts, what is in a fact and what is in an opinion, and in order to have them clear and in order to remember them, they have to study a transcript of a famous speech, and they have to find out what is fact and what is opinion in it, and also to explain why they rank those elements in the two categories. There are also examples of pictures and news which went viral online at a given moment. These two of them, the one with the flower and the one with the clouds, go online almost every year, and by scanning the QR codes, teachers go online, find them, and by using their knowledge, because now they are somehow expert, they find out if these pieces of news are real or not. The next unit deals with online safety and privacy, and a special place here is the netiquette. And I want to admit one thing. When I first did this activity with the group of teachers I work with, I found out, and I was a really bit shocked, that about half of them had no idea what netiquette is. So they are introduced to the core rules of netiquette. There are 10 of them. Here are only the titles, but in the book you can find an explanation and examples, and based on this, teachers work together and they have to imagine they are part of an international project. They work with 3 different countries, that is 3 different cultures, and together they have to create an etiquette for their students to have when they are online. The next unit deals with English for media literacy. I told you I am a teacher of English, so it's very important to know which vocabulary we use for media literacy, and also my favorite part, I would say, the wheel of emotions. In order to understand the issue about vocabulary, there are some headlines. I took all of them, I found all of them online. All of them were viral at a given moment, and while teachers are presented these headlines, they have to think about the feelings they have when they see them. Next, they deal with emotional intelligence and the wheel of emotions, where the emotions are ranked from the positive ones to the negative ones, and on different levels of intensity. And they go again from theory to practice. Taking a word from the wheel of emotion, they have to identify the color, the intensity, the opposite words, and so on. And finally, the 10th unit is about evaluating media, because it's very important to know how to evaluate a piece of news the moment we get in contact with it. And for this, there is a case study for teachers to learn how fake news goes viral, and also what makes a good news article. Here is the piece of news that went viral. There were some innocent pictures, let's say, with some information, but this information was the opinion of the author. It was not the real fact. And teachers examined the story that went viral, and by reading everything about it, because in the case study they have the data when it happened, so when it happened, the hour, the date, the place, and so on, and what the effects were. Then they learn what makes a good news article, how to ask the right question, and a challenge to create their own news ecosystem, because it's very important to know what you do in a good way and what you do in a bad way, and so to get rid of the negative parts. There is also a guide to breaking news, to know exactly what breaking news means and how they are created, and don't forget about why they are being sent. I want to thank you all for your attention. If you have questions, please email me. And you can also contact me by Facebook, where I use my real name, and also on Twitter, because I am active on Twitter as well. It was a real pleasure and a real honor to be with you here today, and I want to thank you very much.